Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Disney Resorts Podcast. My name's Kenny Hayes, and I am joined alongside, as always, by the one, the only, Walt Ramirez.
Hey, Ken, how are you? Welcome back to Drury, New Jersey.
I'm back. I'm back after. I will not put it out there. I had a recent trip to Walt Disney World. We're going to dive into that a little later in the show, but first, we're going to start off with some good news topics, and here we go. So, if you have been following us, we talked about this at the end of last year. Parking, a major parking change, a fee, if you're staying at the resorts, has recently changed. An annual pass update, unless you've been, in a cave somewhere, there has been a change to the annual pass. We're going to get into that momentarily. Galactic Starcruiser, it's hanging on by a thread. More changes coming out regarding the hotel. We'll jump into that and give you some of our thoughts. Moonlight Magic for 2023 dates have now been posted. We will jump into that. Housekeeping, another change to housekeeping from deluxe all the way down to your value resorts. We'll give you the info on that. And then part one of my trip to Walt Disney World. So it sounds like a good show. Stick around, check us out. And before we begin, as always, if you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. So, Walt, I'm going to turn it over to you for the news.
All right. So one of the first topics we're going to discuss today is the free parking at the Disney resorts. This was something that we had discussed in a previous episode that was a sticking point for me personally. And this was something that was implemented during the Bob Iger last, I guess, year or so that he was there before he turned it over to Mr. Chapek. And there was a fee that was added on to your room on a daily basis. And it was substantial. It depended dependent upon what type of resort you were staying at. It was a little bit less for value, a little bit more for moderate, and a pretty decent amount. I think it was over $20 per day at the.
Yeah, it might have been over 30. Now I'm on DVC, so I didn't have to pay it. But yeah, it was.
Well, right, you didn't have to pay it as a DVC member, but we were kind of surprised by this because this was on our wish list of things that could have been changed and should have been changed quickly. And we were really surprised only after a few days of posting that show that this news came out. And we're very, very thrilled to see that go away. It's, something that I think most fans maybe was under the radar for most people until you got your bill at the end of your stay and realized how much they were getting you for.
Well, I felt it a couple times, Walt, because there are certain stays, especially before I added on to DVC, that I would take advantages of the 20 to 25% off, and that I would stay, as just a cash paying patron and not a DVC member. And then you would get hit with that charge. It wasn't fun. No. Disney did what everybody else was doing around, was everyone else is charging for parking, like you said back a couple episodes ago. So they're going to do it too. And I was shocked because of everything, but I was shocked because I thought something like that they would just pass over and not even think about. And in the article that came out days after all these announcements, Josh D'Amaro said, well, it wasn't just Bob Iger and that. It was, they were trying to play it off like, we were listening to you when you get your, after your vacations, they send you the surveys and that. So they're kind of trying to play politics and play both sides as well. Like but it is a sign that they're listening.
That's true. What got me though with that was that it coincided with the elimination of Magical Express. Mm-hmm. So when they eliminated Magical Express, they also added this on. So you really, if you were driving in, you had no choice. Mm-hmm. So for those folks out there who say, "See, this is why you don't rent the car because you wouldn't have to pay a parking fee." Well, you didn't have that issue before, and they added that on, I believe, after they eliminated. It might have been even at the same time. I'm not 100% certain on the dates of when I
believe the parking the parking fees were pre
pre-elimination.
The elimination of Magical Express, yeah. But
Okay.
Bob Iger was CEO, and Chapek was the name, the boogeyman, the name we don't want to say.
Right.
He was in charge of. He was DeMaro's title then.
Yeah, and he basically he could have eliminated that when he took the position, and he did, and neither did DeMaro to be fair, because that was something that was definitely anti-consumer. So number 2 on the news, the annual pass hopping after 2 p.m. For annual pass holders, annual pass holders, you can now hop after 2 p.m. without a reservation is no longer necessary. My feeling on this is I'm kind of scratching my head as to why they didn't just eliminate it completely and not just after 2 p.m. So if you're an annual pass holder and you want to park hop, why can't I park hop at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon, 1 p.m.? Like I still have to wait until 2 p.m. So they can't just say, you know what, we're going to eliminate this idiotic reservation system completely. We still have to cling on to a little tiny morsel of it,
So here's my thing to you, Walt, because I was excited, and I'm giving us a little bit of credit because we talked about this, and I was convinced that some sort of changes would happen early in 2023, and they did. What makes me a little confused, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy with the changes. It's something is better than nothing, right? I put the metal to the pedal, put the pedal to the metal. Yes, put the pedal to the metal, and let's keep going, because what I'm a little, like you said, so I still have to wait till 2 o'clock. But, okay, I don't have to have a park reservation to go somewhere else at 2 o'clock, right? And then there's also stipulations where, excluding Magic Kingdom on weekends and select dates. And then also they didn't give us a date yet of when it's actually going to take effect. They says in the upcoming future. So I think they're testing the waters, because I think maybe more changes could happen because they're trying to read everybody out, and they're trying to see, okay, annual passes still haven't opened up. But it is a move in the right direction. So I can be, or maybe you probably feel the same way, Walt, why I'm not 100% thrilled with the change. I am happy there is a change, and I am happy that they are admitting that they're listening to us. And so, because they didn't have to change anything, and they did.
I just think they're angry that they have to implement these changes.
True.
And they just don't want to double back on them and make themselves look bad, that they've got to basically clean up a mess that they made, that they created for the last 2.5 years, 3 years. And it was a substantial mess. And now it's time to get the mop and the bucket out, and they just really don't want to do it. They're fighting tooth and nail to make these changes. Having said that, I see over your head there that you have a pass holder sign. So the question is, did you renew your annual pass?
Okay, so there was talk at the end of last year. And if you remember, for an episode or two, I did have it up there prior to the Christmas holiday season. I have put it back up there. I put a poll out when I was in Disney. Do you think that I renewed my pass? And I believe it was 83% of you said I did. Drum roll, please. Drum roll. No drum roll? We didn't have enough money to budget, Walt. Okay. Yes, I renewed my annual pass. One more year. I felt, all kidding aside, so I felt that with the changes that I saw, that I would take a chance and hang on to it. I don't know if I'll keep it next year. Let's see what happens. I felt it was a move in the right direction. I will give them credit where credit's due. Do I think they should have just went all the way in and just eliminated park reservations, opened up annual passes, and yes. But I thought it was a move in the right direction. It's something that you and I talked about. They did it. And I'm happy they did it. I'm happy with the changes I saw so far. So I said, I'll do it. I'll take the plunge, and I will renew for one more year.
That's fair. You're giving them a shot. They're trying to head in the right direction, at least the right direction that we feel they should be headed in. So yeah, I mean, that's.
But I took your advice. So if anybody's listening out there, and we'll probably pay the price now. So 2 years ago, Walter said to me, because I would always renew my pass in Disney Springs, and you always have to wait, and you're waiting, right? And you don't want to wait on your Disney vacation. Time is money. Even though I do love to relax, I'm the laid back on the show. But so last year I went to Animal Kingdom. As soon as you enter the park, you make a left, guest services. I didn't know you could do that. Walter informed me. I went in there. There was no one in line. I did it. So this year, I said, when I finally made the decision that I was going to renew, we were coming back from a lunch that we had at the Ale and Compass. And I says, you know what? There's guest services right at the International Gateway. Before we were going back into Epcot, I says, let me go in. And there was like 4 people. So I went, I did it. Happy I did it. And I asked just for giggles. I said, well, my wife was a former pass holder. She let it expire last year. I says, if she wanted to. And while I'm saying if she wanted to, she's like, I don't want to. No, I don't want to. I says, but it's not the point. I says, if she wanted to, could she? They said no, because it was more than a year. So she's out.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's a tear in her eye for that one. So I'm
so
pretty
Walt,
sure
you could save yourself, Walt. If you're not a year yet. You could save yourself.
I think she's pretty happy that she didn't. But,
Yeah.
hey. Number 3 here on the news is the Galactic Starcruiser, which has now announced a reduction in reservations and a huge discount of $700 off per voyage.
This is crazy.
Along with some substantial cuts in those voyages. Looking at the calendar that was provided online, there were about 6 days in July that were eliminated, about 10 days in August. So it seems like the summer months are not Galactic Starcruiser friendly months. We had discussed this a few episodes ago about the timeline for when this eventually would be laid to rest. And it looks like it's heading in that direction. Because Disney does not discount anything,
unless they have to.
Especially not at this rate of discounting of something that is practically brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not even a year old.
It's not a year old, correct? So they are already starting to see that they've made a huge mistake on this, and they can't again admit that we screwed this up. And we're going to maybe reimagine it, close it down for a little while, think of something else we could do with it, build a parking garage, maybe. I don't know. I mean, something else besides this, because it is definitely not something that the consumer wants, as one can see by the lack of interest in it. So, Ken, what's your thoughts on the Galactic Starcruiser?
Well, one thing I found funny in the article is that the demand for the Star Wars experience has fallen significantly, with some voyages operating at only 25%. Mind you, people, like we just said, it's less than a year old. How pathetic is that?
Yeah. And I feel sorry for the cast members who trained for this and had to go through probably pretty extensive training and to have to stay in that character. And now you're basically, that there's only like a quarter of the voyages full. So how pumped up can you get for that on a daily basis?
So you think about it. So now they're offering discounts. Originally, they offered discounts for Disney Vacation Club. That didn't work. Now they're offering discounts for the general public. I don't think that's going to work. You have rooms that start at over $5,000 for, like I said months ago, a 2-night torture chamber. Here's what I think has to happen. And I said it months ago. And Walt, you and I said it a year ago. It's not sustainable.
No,
it's not sustainable. It's a rerun. It's a loop. That's all it is. And I can't believe that these executives would think that people would continue to come back for the same thing. I think, and once I want your take on it too. I think what's going to happen is that when this last ditch effort goes down, I think they'll keep the hotel open. I think they're going to have to significantly discount it, and it's going to be that 2-night, $5,000, the whole the immersion is going to go away, and it's just going to be a hotel. Kind of like when you go to Galaxy's Edge, like they're dressed in character. They got those. I think that will stay. I think, like where you could go into the Starcruiser and quote unquote, like control the ship and stuff like that. I think that could be an upcharge, stuff like that. But I think as you enter and check in until you leave immersion, I think that's going to have to go away. It has to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there has to be some sort of reimagining of what they're going to do with that. I can't even speculate as to what it could possibly be. Maybe you're right. Maybe they will keep it as a hotel and then just maintain the theming of it. That's possible. That's definitely, a viable alternative to what they have right now. But just I think the startling thing about the whole thing is how they misjudged their customer base. I don't know. I'm assuming that they did enough market research on this and thought that this was going to be successful, but I don't know who they were. I understand that a pandemic hit and the economy kind of slowed a bit, but even if you eliminate those factors and just eliminate the COVID situation, like you always said, the sustainability of it from a 5,000, I think it was 6,000 when it first started.
It could have been. It was up there. And think about it. That 6,000 is like the bare minimum.
The bare minimum, right? So, and you're talking about this isn't like a week at Disney. This isn't like, I'm staying at Grand Floridian for a week and it's going to cost me $6,000. This is 2 days. And I understand that it's an experience, but I think they vastly misjudged the popularity of this and the just the base of their fan base for it, because this really is a niche thing. It really is. It's very, very, there's a very small, despite the popularity. Here's the thing they misjudged. The popularity of Star Wars is astronomical. What's not astronomical is the money that people have in their pocket to spend when they go on vacation. People love the movie, but they don't necessarily want to be in this all immersive situation. Like as you call it, a torture chamber. It's basically like an escape room for 2 days.
For 2 days, you just can't get out.
Yeah. I mean, so, let's hope. Well, we were taking wagers on a date that this is going to go away. So I'm still holding to mine. I still say by the end of the year,
I agree,
this will die a very quiet death, and they will somehow, maybe at the next D23, they'll announce some sort of a change to this. That's my prediction for it. So we'll see if that holds true.
Before we move on from this, Walt, because I saw this in the article too. So it's not only because of the dates they're canceling. So Disney's calling guests affected by the cancellations and offering to move them to a different voyage at a 50% discount.
Wow.
50%. Think about how pissed off I would be if I actually paid full price.
Exactly.
Oh my God. This is just bad. This is bad.
Yeah, this is bad.
There's no, you could bring in the best PR guy or girl. You can't clean this up.
Well, that's like I've said earlier and many times before, this is why it's best to sometimes just say to folks, hey, we messed up. And just move on. But don't just kind of like, like stick your toe in the water and pretend like we're gradually going to back out of a mistake. You made a mistake, fess up to it, put it to rest, and move on. And it just doesn't happen. So
nope.
So speaking of mistakes, Moonlight Magic returns to 2023. Now, Ken loves Moonlight Magic. He's a big fan of Moonlight Magic, and many DVC members are. But one thing that Ken has discovered with Moonlight Magic is that the merchandise is a little bit on the light side. So why don't you give us a little bit of an overview of Moonlight Magic for 23?
All right. So the good news is Moonlight Magic is back for 2023. Momentarily, we'll give the parks and the dates that will be available in the upcoming future. But one thing I noticed after the notice of that it was coming back for 23, then I seen another article about Moonlight Magic apparel going to be available on Shop Disney. So I should have before the show, so I apologize. I should have checked it out, but I'm assuming anyone can go on there and purchase the Moonlight Magic merchandise. So that was disappointing to me because
you can guarantee that that's the case.
Yeah, I guarantee. Yes. and what it was for anyone, any DVC member, anyone listening, even who's not DVC, Moonlight Magic is an exclusive free event to Disney Vacation Club owners at select parks on select dates for a certain amount of people. If you were staying on property at that time, you have a much better shot when you log into the queue on certain dates to get in than if you're off property. Well, they always had exclusive merchandise. You might be able to see here. That's from one of my Moonlight Magic in the past. That's from Hollywood Studios. But what I'm getting at is that has the Hollywood Studios logo. It's from that time, right? So what they're putting on the website is just generic, their logo, like the Disney Vacation Club Moonlight Magic. You know, not the park, not the characters that go with the park. And when you went to these events at night, you went into certain shops that were designated for the evening, and you could get exclusive stuff, items like this for that night, for that park, which made it even cooler. There's nothing that indicates that they won't have this, but my feeling is that if you're putting it out there now on Shop Disney, I am not going to hold my breath that it's going to be exclusive to the park like that behind me this year. I don't. Yeah. And that's disappointing to me because I was very disappointed in August when we went to Animal Kingdom and all I got was my popcorn bucket. And I was told that they had problems with their vendors, which, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lame excuse when you already had that event scheduled for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm. So I have the parks and the dates in front of me, and I will give them to you right now. So starting off in Epcot, February 8th, which is coming up, and February 15th are the two dates for Epcot Moonlight Magic 2023. Moving on to Hollywood Studios, May 11th and September 13th. Animal Kingdom, it will be July 11th and August 2nd. And Typhoon Lagoon will be May 23rd and August 23rd. Now, for the second year in a row, Magic Kingdom is missing from Moonlight Magic. So that's disappointing. That is one Moonlight Magic that I haven't experienced. One of them would love to. I'm hoping in 2024 they bring it back. Mm-hmm. But for 2023, no Magic Kingdom.
Well, you DVC people don't rank enough to get into Magic Kingdom. You have to be
DVC.
Yeah, you have to be. We'll talk about that eventually on a future show, because I have some thoughts to share about my experiences as a former DVC member, and I've been out of it for a while now. But we'll get into that and part of the reason why I left and how I feel about the current situation. Mm-hmm. As Ken has mentioned a few times, there are a lot of things that unfortunately DVC members get shortchanged on, and that's another thing that we could put on the list of things we hope that will change relatively soon. Speaking of things that have changed relatively soon, Housekeeping is now back. But again, only partially.
Partially.
It's partially back.
Depending on the class level you stay at.
Yeah. So if you're in a deluxe, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong. You're getting daily.
Correct.
Housekeeping?
Yeah, deluxe, not DVC. If you were staying deluxe,
Correct.
which means you're Walter and you're staying at Beach Club, or one of Walter's recent trips when he went bougie, he stayed club level.
Yeah.
They'll clean his room every day. Yeah, and then moderate and value will be every other day, and DVC, you stay the same.
Yeah.
Every fourth day you get a cleaning. So
right. So that means that if you're DVC and you're staying for 5 days, you get one cleaning, and then they have to come back and clean your room again the next day after you check out to prepare it for the next guest.
Yes.
So that's really efficient. So we'll talk about that, like I said, in the future.
And I have a good story. We'll get into it shortly with my trip about housekeeping and.
There's part two of Kenny's trip is going to be very, very interesting. You want to have to stay tuned for that one. Yeah. The last item I have before we get into Kenny's trip is as of show taping today, Splash Mountain is now officially closed for its reimagining, and there were some interesting videos posted on Instagram of some of the cast members who got some final rides on that last night. And I thought that was kind of
that was cool. Kind of they were the last to ride it.
Yeah, and fun for those folks. I know, Ken, you never experienced Splash Mountain.
No, I watched it,
but I can tell you that it was a fun ride. It was a go-to ride for me at Magic Kingdom, mostly on hot days. I tried to avoid it when it was a little bit on the chillier side because chances are you were going to get wet. But it's, looking forward to the new change. But at the same time, when you have a ride that's been a classic for so long, another one that's been, put away is, it's a little bit of a sad note on that in that respect.
Hey, Walt, for everyone, did you see that there's people actually selling water from the last day of Splash Mountain?
I did not see that, but but I'm not surprised.
No, they're selling different glass jars. No. It has people writing Splash Mountain the last day on it. I'm like, it's gonna evaporate.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the Yankee Stadium dirt from the infield dirt from Yankee Stadium. I could have just went out in my backyard and got that and put it in a container and said, "Oh, it's Yankee Stadium dirt." So
there you go. But so maybe check it out. You could get free water. You could get very expensive water. Yeah,
well, maybe they should have bottled the air inside of Splash Mountain. Also, said it was Splash Mountain air. So
don't put it past nobody, Walt.
I don't.
Just gonna walk around videotape.
Definitely have monetized it. Yeah, Bob would have monetized it. Under Iger, I don't think he's going to.
Chapek would have been like air $49.95.
Exactly, and it would only be available on Moonlight Magic nights. So,
and there's no Moonlight Magics at Magic Kingdom.
Exactly. So let's move on now to Ken's trip. Ken just returned from Saratoga Springs for I believe it was 4-night stay at Saratoga Springs.
4 nights, say Thursday, Friday.
5 nights. I think it was 5 nights. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a long one.
So you had a little bit of a longer vacation this time around, and we had kind of talked about this before you left, and some of the things you were looking forward to. But for those folks who have never stayed at Saratoga Springs, let's just really quickly talk about how you felt about the check-in process. I know that now, if you haven't been to Disney in a few years, you now get a message on the app that lets you know that your room is ready, as opposed to the old-fashioned way of actually physically having to go to the desk to check in. So how did that go for you?
Well, we still did it the old-fashioned way because we had a one-bedroom preferred, which means I would either be located in the Springs, which I never stayed in before, or Congress Park. So I wanted to check in because I tried to see if I can get a little pixie dust and go from a one-bedroom preferred to a 2-bedroom standard because I was bringing my daughter and her boyfriend. So I went in the old style and I explained it. I said, it's his first time. It'd really be nice. You know, it's his first time at Disney since he was a little kid. He barely remembers it, yada, 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 yada. And she just did not seem to compute. It just was not computing. And one thing I don't like, and I was told by a cast member that even though Saratoga just got refurbed, they already shrunk down how many front desks that you can go up to now. Because if you notice when you're going there, they have the tablet and like they kind of stalk you. So as soon as they see you coming up, they kind of shift out from behind the desk. And I don't like it at all. I do not like it. I don't think it's one-on-one. I don't think it's private. I just don't like that whole feeling. I'm old school. I like to go up to the desk, lay everything out for me. I think it's a little more private. You feel like people are listening to you.
Well, that was my next question.
Yeah.
So if you're standing there and I'm behind you and I'm another party now, I can basically hear everything, correct?
Yes, correct. And even when they ask you, because, you know, if you have to reset, they don't have it, you know, they might hear your 4-digit. Well, you don't say it out loud because you got to put your 4-digit pin in if you want to use your magic band. But like, I did not feel it at all. I was like, this feels like just unprofessional. Like, I just don't like this at all. And I asked the girl, and she's like, oh, no, I much prefer the tablet. And then another night I had to go up to the front desk and I said something and she's like, no, she's like, this is what they want because Disney feels it's personable. It's one-on-one. Like, we're coming to you. Mm-hmm. I says, I get it. However, I don't agree with it. Like, I want to come up to your desk. You have the computer screens up. You could pull up my information and not on a little iPad tablet. And they're not even the big tablets. They're the smaller ones. But the younger generation, they like it. And she said, we prefer doing this. And I'm like, okay. I don't like it. And they said they're actually eliminating all of the desks. They will be gone eventually.
Wow.
They will be gone. So I don't know how many people they would probably keep the one desk for your like your bellhop for the concierge and stuff like that. But that's it. It's going away. Don't like it. I know I'm probably in the minority with the technology of just checking in digitally. But like if you want to go up and ask for a certain preference, or maybe like, hey, can I make sure I'm in Congress Park and not in the Springs or vice versa? Like, you can't do that on the app. And that's what you're losing. And I don't think they care. But so, yeah, I was not overly happy with the check-in process. She didn't really seem to take in what I was asking. And I did not get the 2-bedroom.
That's a shame because, I mean, I understand they probably hear that story and maybe there was an issue with accommodating you.
Yeah.
But
just tell me no.
But it seems like they didn't even give you an effort into trying to accommodate,
no effort,
especially somebody who hasn't been to Disney since they were a child, and they're coming back. Normally, they would at least try.
Now they were telling me, because what happened, Walt, is that I had so I was there for 5 nights, and our trip was original. We were supposed to fly home on MLK Day. And my wife saw months ago that the airlines, the prices were astronomical. So we extended our vacation by 1 day because each of our tickets dropped by hundreds of dollars. The only problem is we were put on a wait list. So I want to say about a week or 2 later, the wait list came through. DVC called us. We actually missed the call. She didn't know who it was. And then they left just a voicemail stating that your wait list came through, blah, 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 blah. She never called them back, never checked in on it. No big deal. Well, so I had a 1-bedroom preferred for the first 4 days. Then I had to check out to check back in for my 1 room for 1 night. Turns out I went from a 1-bedroom to a studio for the last night. Because since there was 4 of us and the wait list took that into account and my wife didn't catch it, is that since a studio and a 1-bedroom accommodate 4.
I have to warn you. Do you have a pillow? Because you're going to probably be sleeping in the basement tonight. I'm in the basement now, and I'll probably be in the basement. Yeah, but it was so funny because
Yeah.
There's too much. You're trashing your wife a little too much there. She's not going to enjoy that.
Be honest, it was all. I'm not saying this because I want to be out of the doghouse. It wasn't her fault because I wouldn't have done it either. I would have heard the voicemail saying like, "Hey, your thing came through," and I would have been like, "Hey, great! I don't have to worry about making alternate plans."
You can always stay over my house if you need to.
Good. See? Yeah, you're not that far, Walt. I might be coming over there. Well, it won't be tonight because we're taping, and I don't think she heard me. So,
yeah, it won't be until the weekend when this drops.
Won't be until the weekend, yeah. But I will say, both rooms. Forget I don't like that check-in, so just check that off the list. That no, I do not like it. Both rooms, excellent, clean. Yeah. One bedroom was preferred, and I could check off everything now at Saratoga Springs, excluding the tree houses, because they put us in the Springs.
Okay.
I was directly across. Now, granted, the main pool is down for refurbishment right now, which I have some video, and I'll put that up there. It's full refurb. They're jackhammering the concrete within the pool and everything. But, yeah, the rooms were clean, Walt, both of them. The only damage I saw in our one bedroom was underneath the TV. They have the it's built into the wall, your dresser, and there's three pull-outs, and then in the middle, it's kind of like long square, and you could put some stuff. The handle was real loose. The hole got real big on it. That was it. That was the only thing that I could find. I even did the dusting up on top of the pictures. Nothing. Clean.
Passed the test. That's
and
good.
You could even, when you got in, you could smell it was clean. And I love that. That's OCD.
So it's a noticeable, it's a noticeable difference from your stay at the boardwalk previously.
Yep.
Okay.
Very clean, spot on. I can't knock either room. I actually like the view of the studio the best the last night, and you and I were talking. When you walked out on the balcony, you could literally see, like the turret that says Saratoga Springs and where the High Rock pool is. So that was cool. I liked that. The last night, the sun was setting, and I heard, which I never knew they did. I heard it in the background, but I never put it together that every hour on the hour, they start playing the horns.
Yep.
And I sent the video to Walter. I was like, they're really going. He's like, yeah, they play that every hour. And for me, who loves it, I never put it together. So that was cool. Great view. And it was that low.
Great location, too.
Great location. And you know what? It sounds corny, but sitting outside, relaxing. I had some port wine and cheese, had a drink, kicked my feet up, sun setting. You hear that idling. Now. Yeah. The idling of the buses. And it's just relaxing. What a cool spot. I had a good time. The rooms were definitely
so thumbs up on that.
Shape. Yeah, thumbs up.
Okay, so what is your so that folks who are listening kind of get a feel for your first day, what is your go-to on your first day of vacation?
On this particular one?
Well, on this particular one, yes, but just in general.
So what we've been normally doing now is, it used to be Wolfgang Puck. Everyone knows that by now who's been listening to us. That's gone. So we got down there around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And for some of yous, and I know he'll be watching, so here's a shout out. My older brother, he recently moved down to Central Florida. He's not too far from Disney. And the first day, I haven't seen him since he moved. We met up in Disney Springs with him. We had lunch over at Earl of Sandwich, which we kind of been going to now. I'm going to tell you, Walt, it's good. I wish there was an Earl of Sandwich up by us because it's good. Nice. I like a hot sandwich. It was good. Disney Springs was not busy, which I was happy about. We did the mobile order. It wasn't through the Disney app, but Earl of Sandwich does have a mobile order. We mobile ordered. We met him over there. We sat outside, caught up, had good times. But if you haven't tried Earl of Sandwich yet, even for dinner, if you're just looking for something
light,
the sandwiches are good. I don't know I believe you have eaten there. It's a good sandwich.
Yes. Yeah. What did you have on this trip?
I had the hot Italian.
Okay.
So that was good. I've had the hot turkey before, the hot Italian. I like the hot Italian. I think I said
And did
I
you
like.
and did you get a chance to get over to Dockside to have a margarita over there?
Yeah, so we caught up. We had lunch over at Earl, and then we did a little bit of walking around, and then we got a few drinks over at Dockside Margaritas. I dined there early last year. I did not have a great experience. It was very dirty. This time it was not dirty. Drinks were okay. It wasn't bad, but the view was great.
When you say dirty, what do you mean? You just trash on the ground?
When we were there last year, there was just trash everywhere.
Wow. Okay.
And it's run by Disney employees. It's not like an outsourced company.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave my daughter a free drink last year to go clean it up. A free shot. Yeah. They're like, well, here's a free shot if you want to go pick it up. I was like, are you for real?
Wow.
Yeah, that was not like that this year. It was clean. I thought the drinks were good. Not everybody was happy with the drinks, but great view, beautiful day. It was like 78 degrees when we got there. Kicked my feet up. We had a couple drinks. Would I try it again? Yes. It was definitely a plus up since last year.
Okay.
Because last year was a disaster. Just garbage everywhere.
And what's the price point roughly of the drinks? Like $15, $16 or more?
Yeah,
than
somewhere
that?
in that ballpark. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not cheap for just one round. But you're on vacation, catching up, having good times. So I still would say go check it out. At nighttime, they have nighttime entertainment outside. They usually have one performer. So it's definitely a good place to sit back, relax, because they have kind of like the bar seating up against the railing. They do have some bar seating up against the building. Then they also have like nice lounge chairs and that out. You could sit down in too. And then, like I said, they have live entertainment out there. It may be every night, but it's a lot. So,
okay.
But I would try it. I would say to someone, go try it, have a drink. Mine was very good. It was basically an LIT. It was good.
A good outdoor place to sit in on a nice day and have a drink.
Yes, and my favorite area, is the marketplace anyway. So it was just a walk away.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
So that evening, you dined at the Turf Club at Saratoga, I believe.
Yes, I did.
And this is not the first time that you've dined there.
This is third time. First time since they redid the menu and all that.
Okay. And how was your experience this time compared to your previous visits?
Much better. Absolutely much better. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank of what my wife had. But I will post it up on our the YouTube feed, her dinner, her plate. No, it was a fish. I'm almost positive. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, and I'm going to be in trouble again. Yes, it was the salmon. Good catch.
You did send me a picture of it, I believe.
So, yes, she had the salmon, and I had the oh, wow, Walt. This is bad. I'm getting old.
Prime rib?
I had the prime rib. I just totally went blank on Turf Club.
That's all right. It happens.
I said, wow, it was actually a plus, and then I went blank. So I had the prime rib. It came out, because I said to him, I want it kind of medium well. That's just the way I am. That's the way I don't like it really bloody. It came out, it was red.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he looked, I was like, because that's like, that's red. And of course, the server was great. He's like, I'll take it back. I'll have them put it on a little longer. And I said, I never send food back. But I was like, could you? I said, it's not. He took it back. It came out perfect. Well seasoned. I had him bring out some A1, but I didn't need it, which is a good sign.
Yeah. It looked very, very good. Now, the only thing I just from the picture you sent me, the sides, how were they? Because it seemed like the way they plated them, it didn't plate like exceptionally well.
No,
but
it wasn't.
Sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the sides were good. They didn't. You are right though. They didn't plate it. There wasn't like that real knock it out of the park presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Would I go back to Turf Club? Yes. It is. I think it's a great place for like your first day in. easy reservation to get. If you're staying on property and you're like, you know what, I just want to eat out, but nothing is available, I don't think you could go wrong. Is it a knockout at a park? No, it's average.
Right.
It was good. Like, it was good, but it's not something you and I would continue to talk about.
Correct.
It's not a Le Cellier. Yeah. It's not one of those. It's not a Citrico's, stuff like that. But it is a huge improvement to what Turf Club used to be.
Okay.
Now, the inside, everything looks exactly the same. So basically, I don't know if it's a new chef, but it's a new menu. And it was good. And I would tell you the service was good. Even after my meal came back out after them taking it back, not even 5 minutes, the manager came over and apologized. I said, there's nothing for you to apologize for. It's okay. It's totally okay.
That's good.
You don't need to apologize to me, but
good.
that was good service. Yes.
Yeah, that's good to see.
And also, we had several nights. We also had the Turf Club Bar and Grill, which is directly outside Turf Club. The pool table came back. They have a bunch of lounge chairs. They have a bunch of tables, chairs. They have a bar open. You could get a couple of different finger foods there. Good time. It was a good time.
Looks like our friends over at Park Rovers were there.
Yes. Yes, and I was upset because the day Andrew was there was the only day I was not at Saratoga. I was actually at Captain Cook's in the Polynesian. Otherwise, I would have went. We could have finally met in person. But yeah, so he was there as well, and they had a good time.
Yeah, that's good. So that evening, you finished off your night by heading over to the Enchanted Rose at the Grand Floridian.
Yes.
And you had some drinks over there. And
yes.
Let us know about that.
So on my last trip it's one of the lounges, and one thing Walter and I say, like, we're part of the show is we want to do like resorts, we want to do lounges, we want to do restaurants, something not everybody covers. Definitely go check out the Enchanted Rose. But bring some cash with you. But I think they did a great job with theming. Looks really nice. You could sit at the bar. You also have like little nice lounge areas to sit at too, like some couches, some nice chairs. And then they also have, if you come in the main entrance and you look to your right, there's a lot of almost like restaurant kind of seating. So it's a decent sized lounge. Service was good. Drinks were good. I had a whiskey sour. I think my wife had Bailey's on the rocks. I forgot what the kids had, but they had 2 drinks as well. So for one round, of course I paid. We paid. With tip was $75.
Wow.
Yeah. So we only had one. We wanted to do the monorail loop. Did we do everything? No, but it was our first night. And we were going since we got up at 4 that morning. So that was already by like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then they gave up. They went back to the room, and then we jumped back on the monorail, went over to the Contemporary. But yeah, definitely, Walt, the next time you go, check out the Enchanted Rose. Good place. It was a little rowdy. It was a little loud in there. I was shocked.
Nothing, no sporting event going on that night that would cause that? It was just a normal night?
Just a normal night. Spirits were high.
Okay.
At the Enchanted
Figuratively
Rose.
and literally.
Figuratively and literally. Yes. They were. That was a good one. I like that. But yeah, because I wanted to check it out because a lot of people were posting. They said the drinks were good. The ambiance was good. Nice view of Seven Seas Lagoon. You could see out there. You could see the water taxis going by. You could see the ferries, coming and going from Magic Kingdom. So it's a really cool spot. You should definitely go check it out if you want to sit back for an hour, have a couple drinks, and like I said, it's expensive, but the drinks at Disney.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of folks I've heard who go there sometimes feel it's a little stuffy. Did you feel that way, or just not at all? No, really. Like, we were dressed up kind of like this. Okay, totally fine. No one was dressed up like you didn't get that. What do they call it? The hoity-toity. Yeah. No. Yeah. But that's good, though. No, it was good. Good time. Awesome. All right. So we're going to wrap up Kenny's vacation part 1 on that note. And we'll continue with this in the next episode. There's some really interesting stories that you're going to want to hear about on the next episode. Especially Kenny's, and we'll do a teaser on that, Kenny's Skyliner experience. Which
I had an experience.
Yeah, it was an experience. Experience that most folks don't want to have.
No, you don't.
So we're going to close out the episode with, I guess, the what we'll call the grievance department. So we'll just have a few topics on our wish list of things that hopefully will change soon and that Kenny observed on his last trip. The first one, the trams have not returned to Epcot or Hollywood Studios.
Correct.
And we're trying to figure out the reason why. And we're racking our brain. I mean, I understand that the parking lots in both of those theme parks are smaller, if you want to call it that, than Magic Kingdom's parking lot and Animal Kingdom's parking lot, which both of those parking lots are like the size of airports.
True.
But Epcot has a tendency to be more of a walking distance. And Hollywood Studios, I guess, because of the Skyliner, doesn't get the love that it should with the tram. But at the end of the day, it's about customer service. And there are a lot of folks that, unfortunately, whether it's a disability, whatever, a health issue, that may not want to huff it, a half a mile from the place where they park their car to the front of the park. And that tram makes a big difference in their experience. So, again, let's put that on the list of things that Mr. Iger can just wave a magic wand and change immediately, because that's something he could change.
And you know what I think about, Walt? Because Disney announced last year when they were bringing back the trams that all 4 parks would have tram service by year's end.
Yes.
Year came and gone.
Yep,
and there's
that did
still
not
2
happen.
parks that nope.
Did not happen.
You know what I want to hear when I go to those parks? Driver, you are cleared for dispatch.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we could get that soundtrack and play that for you.
And you probably had it too, and a lot of us who are listening out there, sometimes you get a really good tram guy or girl
absolutely.
on the back, and they tell some fun stuff, and they make that ride just really fun.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Part of the experience. Exactly, it's part of the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are some folks that have great personalities, character cast members that have great personalities that are characters, and they really enjoy their job. And you and I have both experienced that, where we've been on the tram, and it's just, it puts you in a good mood.
Yes.
Either on your way out of the park or on your way into the park. Either way. I
always said to my wife, I said, when we retire and if we move down here, I'm going to be one of those guys.
Yeah. I don't see that happening, but yeah, you never know.
Well, we are clear for dispatch.
Yeah, well, I think you just want to do the voiceovers. That's what I think. Magical Express is the other thing on my list of grievances that hasn't come back. Now, I know that the Sunshine Flyer has basically taken over
that and Mears. Yep.
That situation there. But I think that Disney could easily come up with a working agreement with Sunshine Flyer, where they provide the what was formerly known as Magical Express service, and just have the Sunshine Flyer company, take over that, and just slap the Disney name on there, because it's a service that I think most folks enjoyed and look forward to. I've seen a lot of feedback online about that, and it was part of the experience of being on vacation. It made you feel good when you got off the plane, and you knew the bus was there waiting for you, and you didn't have to lug all of your luggage to the room. And we've talked about this in the past. There are a lot of little things that they've eliminated, like the packages to your room when you make a purchase.
Still not come back.
And that hasn't come back. So the Magical Express is something that I think would
That's a major win for them if they did that.
It's a major win. It I think would reinforce to a lot of Disney fans that they're really turning the corner and are starting to care again about their customers.
I agree.
And show some good faith in that by doing something like that. It's a minimal cost. I can't imagine that this is something, like I said, if you work something out with Sunshine Flyer where they're incurring basically all the costs. They're running the buses, they're paying the employees under their auspices, and then you're just putting your name on it and basically leasing them out for whatever,
Same thing you did with Mears.
Yeah, yep. whatever the term is that you can come up with, whether it's a couple of years, 5 years, whatever it is. I mean, it's something that they can hammer out, and I think it just, like I said, it shows the fans that we care, and we're definitely heading back into that vacation atmosphere that folks look forward to when they go there and spend all the money that they spend when they go on a Disney vacation.
Agreed.
Any thoughts on that, Ken?
Well, we've been doing pretty good so far on what we've been talking about coming. So we figured we'd bring it up one more time.
Yeah.
So maybe they hear us and bring it back. Like you said, we think in our grand scheme of the world, you're like, oh my God, that's so much money. For Disney, it's a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in a bucket. And if you're like you said, Walt, if you're truly concerned about making the changes, bringing the magic back, and getting it back to what it was, so you and I didn't use it, but so many people did. We're in the minority. So many people did. And you locked them in the park. They couldn't leave the bubble because you supplied them with transportation. Hello. Yeah. It's simple.
You just gave me a great idea for Moonlight Magic merchandise. Bring back the magic T-shirts and hats.
I'm going to do that. That's what we're going to start selling. Bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic. I don't think they would appreciate that, but because they don't think it ever left. But
we're going to rebrand ourselves. Bring back the magic podcast.
Yeah, I think the magic has kind of taken a little bit of a hiatus for a little while. So let's bring back the magic.
But I will give credit. There has been some changes, and I did see in the next episode we'll get into that more. But it's
incremental.
Yes,
but like you said, it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
But in Walter's world, either you bring it back 100% or you don't bring it back at all. Don't play games with the.
Well, like you said before we
customers.
Wrap, I think, and not saying we agree with it, these are teasers because folks, they're testing the waters. That's what I said. Keep the pedal to the metal. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep bringing these topics up. Yeah, you might sit there and say, well, these guys talked about it already. We need to continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
They listen. They probably not listening to us. We're just a small little mom and pop podcast, and that's fine. But they are listening, from the big guys all the way down to us. They're listening, and we have to keep saying it. That's the only way you're going to get it back.
Totally agree. All right, so we're gonna wrap up on that note with Ken's awesome words of wisdom there. Let's hope that they're listening in. All right, Ken, we'll wrap right here.
Yeah, good show as always. Glad to be back.
Excellent.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Yep. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this edition of the Disney Resorts Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. For Walt Ramirez, I'm Kenny Hayes. Take care, everybody.